What's happening, good people? It's your man, Patrick the Game Changer Jackson here. Back again for another great episode. Make sure y'all come on, tap on in. We're about to get busy. About to get real busy, man. Talk about some really, really tough topics tonight. One being deporting American citizens, man. Like, yes, deporting. You heard me correctly. Deporting American citizens. Yes. Doesn't touch on that. If you didn't know, now you know. Make sure you spread the word. And also, we're going to be talking about a woman calls out some false prophets live on the internet, man. A lot of that stuff is going on, and definitely want to highlight that as well. But you have the opportunity to win some free tickets to the comedy show. Comedy show going down June the 13th. June 13th, you want to make sure that you're in the building. C-Mac Production is always bringing some heat to the city. So June the 13th, you can win 2 tickets for you and a friend, your partner, your spouse, whoever you want to take with you. You have the opportunity to win 2 free tickets. All you got to do is make sure you like, share, and comment. Get up in each comment and talk about some of the things and bring your perspective to the table about some of the stuff that I'm talking about on today. And so we'll have probably a winner, I think, Sunday and next Thursday for those next shows. So make sure y'all stay locked in with us. It's always a great conversation and topics that we love to, when people send us topics. I got sent this particular topic about deportation, I think early this morning or late last night sometime. So that's why I'm going to be talking about this. And I got sent a whole bunch of stuff, but this one definitely took the cake, man. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting conversation, but had some great times over the last couple of weeks, been moving and grooving, and it's been a phenomenal, busy but phenomenal last couple of weeks. Definitely enjoyed the Soul Food Fest. Had the honor of meeting a lot of the counselors in Virginia. Had a great visit there. The Bakersfield Women's Conference was phenomenal. My lovely Artisa May, she did a phenomenal job with her presentation, and everything was phenomenal. The whole get together, Miss Nichols, was phenomenal. Everything was just great. So it's been a fun, great week. On yesterday, had the opportunity to go and support families that had been victims. Their families have been victims of a lot of the violent crimes that have happened. They've lost a loved one, and so been able to go and support, console, and bring words of encouragement and inspiration to those families was phenomenal yesterday as well. Channel 17 News had put it together and did a great job. And so some other great upcoming events that'll be going down as well. I believe MAGV next, I think it's the 24th, May 24th, we'll be also doing a march against violence as well. So stay tuned for all of these great activities that'll be coming up. Also have the great honor of being the keynote speaker for the CSUB Grad Day. So definitely honored about that. Going to go inspire some of these young people that are taking their next step in the trajectory of life. So I am excited to be able to be the keynote speaker for that. And hopefully I can bring some joy, hope, and inspiration to them as well. So, man, listen, y'all are in tune for a show tonight. Y'all are in tune for a show tonight, man. Again, make sure y'all get in these comments. Say hello, man. Don't be a stranger. Don't be shy. Say hello to your boy in the comments, man. We're going to tear it up today because that's what we do. I'll be right back. What's happening, good people? What's happening, good people? Glad to have y'all back, man. Listen, again, make sure that y'all getting these comments, like, share, subscribe. If you want to win some free tickets to the comedy show, man, it's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. We want y'all to be locked in to be able to have some fun, have a good time, and be a part of something great. If you're checking in somewhere, man, just tell me where you're from. And also real quick, got some great news. I got some other great giveaways that I'm excited to be a part of. So y'all stay locked in for that too. I'll probably bring that up probably midway through the show. So y'all be sure to tune in about that. Now, we're about to get locked into some stories that are happening around the country. Now we're going into the politics, man. This is I know a lot of people, they don't really want to get into politics. They're not really as engaged as they would like to be. But let me tell you something. You got to be somewhat. You got to be involved in the political space somewhat, because it determines a lot about what's going on in your everyday life. It's all structured by laws. So if you are not a part of the process of making sure you change the laws that you don't like, or trying to sustain the laws that we do have, guess what? You ain't gonna know what's going on. And they'll be able to slip all these different laws in, and all of a sudden the things that you thought that you had a right to and for will be taken away from you just like that, gone. Just by people voting and signing some documents. So don't think that all of this stuff is just a guarantee, that it's just there for you, that is just going to be all the same as how you know it. Yes, things can change at the drop of a vote, and things have been changing here recently, man. Listen, things have been changing, and let me tell you, if you are not a part of the solution, you will be a part of the problem, man. I'm telling you, in all of this stuff that is going on, all of this stuff that is happening, it is happening because we are not paying attention to voting. You have to make sure that you are a part of the voting process. Now, those of you that know Miss, uh, let's see, let's go here. We're gonna go to Miss Crockett, the famous Miss Crockett. Yes, the famous Miss Crockett. Those of you that know her, you know her. If you don't, you're going to get to know her on today, because deporting American citizens. Yes, I said deporting American citizens is a thing right now. Why is that? Deporting, it's just rolling off the tongue. It's just wrong in general. Deporting American citizens. It's just getting out of control. It's getting out of hand. It's getting out of control. It is getting extremely wild, man. It is getting extremely wild to the point to where, we're talking about trying to have our way and trying to have things done a certain way. But all of these different laws and things are just slipping on in, man. Like, you have to be extremely careful to what is happening and what's going on and how things are taking place. Man, you have to be extremely careful to see exactly what is taking place around our country. And so I'm going to play this video for you of Miss Jasmine Crockett explaining what's going on. And we're going to kind of just break it down just a little bit.
But literally, they just voted. They being the other ones, not us, because we were all on the right side of history. They just voted to give Trump the ability, legally, to give him the ability to deport U.S. citizens. That is what they voted for. A bunch of elected U.S. representatives. That is how they voted. Am I telling a lie, Eric, or no?
No, I got my sound here. Mouthful. No, I'm stunned.
I'm not. But I'm glad that you. Oh, okay, Eric been here longer than me, but like.
So what we said was, we even said, you know what? Many of us will not offer any more amendments tonight. We won't vote for the overall bill, but if you agree to this, we'll drop any other amendments. We'll take the win that this would be in the bill, that you would agree U.S. citizens can't be deported. They voted to allow Donald Trump to deport U.S. citizens. And they did it during the week that we learned that a 4-year-old little girl fighting cancer, a U.S. citizen, has been deported, separated from her U.S. citizen father and her cancer treatment. So, yeah, it's kind of shocking.
Well, he's shocked. Y'all listen now. I came in with nothing but fools. So he been here longer. So maybe he still has a little bit of shock in his life, but I don't personally. Because the fact is, we used to live in a world in which where we saw the news about that baby that got deported, the baby with cancer, because supposedly he the man that's all about the children with cancer, right? Like that's why he made sure one of his guests was at the State of the Union was a child with cancer. So surely, even though they're cutting cancer funding, but like it is a U.S. citizen. Like there honestly isn't even this real thing of like deporting a U.S. citizen. As far as I'm concerned, you randomly kidnapping folk and you throwing them out of the country against their civil rights, against their constitutional rights. And frankly, how would they feel if some other country decided that they were going to just start throwing people randomly in our country? Like that is absolutely insane. So yes, all I gotta say is y'all need to get these fools out of here. But Deborah is so much nicer about how she says things. She wasn't them real. She's one of them real good nice lawyers. Okay, listen, I can only imagine how Deborah was in the courtroom, honey. But Deborah also sits on judiciary. So tell us, I mean, what are your thoughts? How do you explain that this is what they decided to do?
They're mean, they're heartless, and they're cruel. And they do not care about anybody except themselves. But if you're going to be able to deport U.S. citizens, then they're coming for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So again, like all those people that are saying that they have some sort of buyer's remorse about their votes because they never thought that this was going to impact them and that kind of stuff or whatever. Here's the reality. When we go out and make votes, instead of going out and deciding that you're going to vote for the person that is going to be quote unquote perfect, what you need to be doing is looking for somebody that at least has some common decency. Because ultimately, when it comes down to it, I can tell you, if it was somebody else that was in office other than him as the president of the United States, maybe we would have had a different result. But they are so afraid. They are afraid to do what is right. Again, I keep trying to tell people, this isn't about partisanship. This is about right versus wrong. Now, listen, y'all know this fighter. She stays on the front lines. On the front.
Let's stop right there. Now, it's a lot more to the video that they kind of go into and make a lot of, gestures and situations like that. Now, okay, man, let's look at it from a couple of different ways and perspectives, right? They went into the political part of, making sure that if you're going to vote, make sure that you're voting, making sure that you know that the person has some of the same values and things that you are looking for. And so as this has been, man, we're only in May, the beginning of May, and so much has happened between that timeline. And from a constitutional standpoint, right, we're talking about deporting American citizens. Some of these things you just can't wrap your head around. That and that's why you can't take a lot of this stuff for granted, because you don't know how people are thinking. I'll also start, and I'm gonna go off just for a second, because in the same breath we'll talk about human trafficking and the ages and stuff. There was an argument about 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds, right? For trafficking and the not being a misdemeanor and being a felony, and I'll talk about that on another show as well. But these are things that we as people that have common decency and morale for each other as citizens and people that we're concerned about each other. that we're concerned about the human race, and we're concerned about the people that are our neighbors, and um, people that we see in grocery stores or play on our kids' team, people that we work with, co-workers and their families and stuff like that, right? And we're saying, okay, you have people that you voted in as American citizens to represent you as an American citizen, now are trying to create leadway to be able to deport American citizens. You know, under what grounds and all of the intricate details of that, there's always a slippery slope, right? Who always gets the bad end of the stick when it comes to a slippery slope type of law? And these are the things that we have to be very attentive to and very careful on, making sure that we have representatives, and this is, of course, across the United States, making sure that you have representatives from your local government, your state, your county, of course, your federal. I mean, all of these different people are representatives for you, for us as U.S. citizens. So we have to be extremely cautious to what is happening and what's going on. We cannot make this into something that we're just gonna brush over and not realizing that, oh, we're gonna wait till it hit your doorstep. You cannot wait until that. This is outrageous. It's unconstitutional. Number one, that's where a lot of these things they're trying to implement and put in place and try to act and do before the snowball happens, because there's no way that you can now be in the process of trying to force another country to take a citizen, right? Like the tail end of that, you heard him say, you know, it's like someone trying to make us take someone from China. You know, it doesn't make sense, right? Like that portion of it makes absolutely no sense. We have to be very conscious of what people are, their intentions, and when they have individuals in office that are representing your area. And that's part of the problem. A lot of people that vote for folks, and they really don't realize that there is they have a evil intent, not for the everyday person that is even giving them the vote. Is almost is all is almost contradictory, right? And let me be extremely clear about my political position and how I feel and the way that I move. I am not pro Democrat nor pro Republican. I don't think either party really cares about the needs of the everyday American citizen. I don't think either party cares about the everyday American citizen. I think both parties work for themselves as parties, but the people that get the back end of the stick is always the disenfranchised, the poor, the homeless. Those are the people that end up getting the wrong end of the stick every single time. And because of that, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why. A few reasons. One is that they don't. People have gotten so disengaged that they even stop voting. Right? They stop voting. They stop putting in effort. They stop putting forth the energy to be able to think that any change is going to happen for them. So even going out to vote is already a struggle, right? They don't really, most people don't really view it from that perspective. Even going out and talking to people, registering people, from homeless people to disenfranchised folks to people at bus stops. If people are talking the language of how can a person get up, then they most likely may vote or may not vote. But then each party really just target their constituents. So who is going to always get the bad end of the stick? The same group every single time, no matter what party really is in office. It's not really a major change in a major way. that's going to take place. It has to be something that's systemic, something that's long lasting, something that's going to push for the needle for years and years to come. And it's not something that you can fabricate, man. Like we are we are literally we are literally getting rid of the fabric and foundation of what common decency is. It's like now we're throwing that out. We're saying what, that there's no reason to even have uh any laws for an American citizen at that point, right? Like that's the crazy part. That's the crazy part. You start to go into a space to where all these things it's just thrown out of the water. It's thrown out of the water. You don't get any type of of regard for the everyday person. There is zero regard. And that's what most people have to wake up to. Most people have to wake up to that. They have to wake up to the fact that we have to take back the understanding to our families, our loved ones, those that we care about, that we have to do something different. What has been going on and what has been happening cannot be the same. We cannot keep the status quo. We cannot. We cannot afford to keep the status quo. And I don't think people are realizing that this is a much bigger deal than most folks realize, that this is a much bigger issue than what people are really recognizing. If you look at the landscape of what's going on politically, it's just mayhem all over the place. There's so much that can be covered. There's so much that can be talked about. There's so much that can be even mentioned. And I know a lot of it is overwhelming. But one key thing that we have to keep focus on is that politics ain't going nowhere. Politics is not going anywhere. It's going to be here. It's going to be here to stay. But we have to be a part of the process of being involved and being engaged. If we are not, things like this are going to continue to happen. Things like this are going to continue to happen. So it's important that we're involved in some type of way. That's all I'm saying. If we're not, oh man, we got a whole lot that's going to be coming. We got a whole lot that's going to be transpiring, a whole lot that's going to be taking place if we do not take heed to what is happening, what is going on, how we're being engaged, the way that we're going to put things in perspective. I'm flabbergasted, to say the least. Number one, I'm flabbergasted to what is happening and what's going on. It is, I mean, literally, we have legislators wanting to deport American citizens. You can't, I don't know. And it's like we're sitting around and we're like, what's next? What's the next thing that's going to happen? What is the next crazy thing that's going to take place? You tell me. I mean, everything is really up for grabs at that point. Everything is up on the table. Everything is in a crazy situation at that point. There's no getting around it. There's no getting around it. We're putting ourselves in a place to where it's dang near free for all. There's nothing that they won't put on the table. Everything is kind of, hey, it is what it is. But y'all let me know. Let me know in the comments what's your thoughts. Did you know about it? Did you even know that this was even happening? And they're sneaking all of this stuff in right in front of all of the American citizens. I mean, it could be you. They could literally, and the crazy part, because we're talking about ICE here, right? ICE deporting American citizens. It's illegal for ICE to deport American citizens, and then it's unconstitutional. And so now you haven't rewrote the Constitution. You're just trying to put in a law. You're trying to put in a law that's unconstitutional, man. And that's the insane part. The parameters of it has not changed to where the Constitution hasn't changed. So the way that they're putting things, you're breaking up families, you're breaking up homes, you're doing all this stuff illegally to American citizens. The deportation process, that's an argument for illegals that are here, in that whole conversation that is being had. That's a whole different conversation. But we're talking about American citizens here, people that were born in America, that we're saying that they have the ability to deport. Where to? Who knows? Wherever they decide. Unconstitutional. And then you're telling a country that they have to accept a citizen that's not their citizen. How insane is that? You're telling people, you're telling a country, you're telling a president of a country, a king of a country, that they have to take American citizens into their country. Man, it's so many crazy aspects to this. It's insane. There wasn't the person that they're deporting wasn't born there. So if we're trying to deport someone to China, but they're an American citizen, or we're trying to call them American Chinese, or we're trying to say deporting someone back to Mexico, but they're a American citizen. We're telling these presidents of these countries that they have to accept American citizens. And that's the part that is crazy insane. And that is exactly what we're talking about, lawmakers. People, we are paying all of y'all that pay taxes and stuff, right? We are paying for these individuals to be a part. We are paying them to go into office, to go into their office and draw up something like that. They are wasting taxpayer dollars to draw something up like this. And then not only that, you have people that are voting on it. People voting on this. It is, you can't make this stuff up. They are voting on deporting American citizens. I can't say that enough. Now, Jasmine Crockett has another segment here. This is her actually talking, and I want y'all to hear this portion of the clip as well. Let's hear what she had to say here.
But I'm tired. And frankly, I think y'all should be tired too. Because I think no matter what district you come from, if you were to survey your district, there is no one in your district that would say that we should spend money on ICE, immigration and customs enforcement, to detain or deport, which you can't even deport, detain and kidnap, or detain and whatever, unlawfully restrain a U.S. citizen. Not anyone in your district would actually support that. I would put money on it. And so this absolutely should be a no-brainer. And I thank you to the gentlelady from the state of Washington for proposing just common sense, which seems like it is not so common nowadays.
Now, did you hear what she just said? These are people that are representing, and I know that these are usually boring topics, and I'm bringing y'all some boring political topics. I'll get into the false prophet stuff here in a minute. That was called out, and we'll have a little fun here in just a moment. But I do always want to sometimes tap y'all with some of these political topics that are extremely hot. and especially stuff like this. I'll get into some of the other things on some of the other shows, but politics is something that we all should be a part of. It's our everyday life. It's things that change and things that we would want to have changed. And if we're not a part of that process, then we're sitting around wanting others to make decisions. And then when those decisions are made, we're upset with the decisions that they're making. I just want y'all to just take a moment just to think about that. If you are not a part of the process of change and being involved, then that's kind of on us. It's kind of on the people that says that they want to have something change. They say that they want to be involved. They say that they're complaining about situations and issues that are going on. If you are not a part of that change, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be us, the little people, the people that are the everyday citizens that are out here that are going to get the short end of the stick all the time. And I say, if they're starting to knock on your door when they're doing illegal stuff, don't be shocked when they knock down yours. Don't look at your neighbors and think that just because, oh, it's not happening to me. If they're doing illegal acts to do things to this extreme, don't think that it can't happen to you. Some of those folks that have those federal jobs and things like that, they're realizing that now. That everything that you thought that was for others have now trickled on over into your grass and coming on, creeping up to your front door. And now it's moving on inside of your house. And that's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. You can't just look over there and you see stuff happening to your neighbors and then you ain't, that's them. That's what's happening to them. It ain't got nothing to do with me. My business. But that's part of your business. The political part is part of your business. I just want to encourage y'all on tonight to make sure that you're involved in some type of way and for you to be aware of what is happening and what's going on when it comes to this political space. Okay. When it comes to this political space, it is very important to be somewhat engaged. I always say somewhat because a lot of people they don't want to be involved with politics. And I understand that. It is a lot. It's a big undertaking to watch and be involved in politics all the time. And I say somewhat. Dip your toes in it sometimes, just so that you know what's going on, so that you can be involved. So if you see something that you don't like, you can have a voice for it, and you can create the change that you want to see as well. Don't just sit on the sideline and allow everybody else to make those decisions for you, because the changes that you're wanting to see could very well be the politician that's in your area, in your county, and in your state that can make those changes that you see in your heart that you want to see change. Even being involved, even on other layers, being involved at school boards, right? Those things are very important too. Your children's education, your grandchildren's education, your nieces and nephews, all of those are part of you being somewhat involved in a political space. We think politics is only the president. No, politics is all throughout your everyday circumstance. You have some of you that are a part of unions and things like that. That is all political. They're advocating on your behalf. When y'all want that salary increase, come on now. Don't have brand new women. When you want that salary increase, you got that union backing you up. Want that salary increase? Y'all going and you're bargaining and you're going forth and you're trying to figure out what's going on with the benefit packages and everything else. And you're seeing the cost of living going up, and you don't see the difference in your wage that is able to compensate that so that it can continue to increase. Yeah, those conversations, that's all political. So being involved somewhat makes a huge difference. And those of you that are in unions, you recognize when you have a weak union and when you got a strong union. Those that are involved, when you got a big enough one, you're able to make some moves and some changes because you have people that are involved in the process. That is no difference than any other political process. If you're not involved, you have very strong unions, you have extremely weak unions. So a lot of you that are on these different jobs and with to have unions and stuff, and realize that it makes a huge difference. And you could have a big union, but you have weak reps, right? You have people that you need to switch these reps out, because these representatives that's supposed to be helping y'all get a wage increase isn't helping you. That you'll find out that they getting a back cut from the company to not help y'all get the raise, right? Those things happen. I know some of you have heard some of those stories. So it's extremely important to somewhat be involved in the political space. You got to be involved somewhat, because it's going to affect you. Politics is a way of life. I'll tell you that much. You got to be involved one way or another. You're involved whether you want to be or not. Like, let me just make it plain and simple for you. You're involved whether you want to be or not. When these changes happen, like the topic of today, the deportation, right? You're involved whether you want to or not. They come and pick you up and say, hey, they signed this into law. Well, when they signed it into law, well, you didn't know about it, huh? Then now you yelling, Tom, so I know I'm a U.S. citizen. I got my rights. Well, they got a law that said that they don't care if you're a U.S. citizen. They still can deport you. I'm just saying. I ain't trying to push y'all to be involved heavily. I'm just pushing you to be involved somewhat. It's extremely important for y'all to be involved somewhat, some type of way, in some type of sphere for you to do that, man. Listen, Jasmine Crockett been on their neck. She be getting it in. It is the girl don't play. The girl don't play. She don't play. So it's something that y'all need to be extremely aware of when it comes to this political space. And I would hope that many of you would start to really put yourselves in a position to where these changes and these things that are happening throughout the course of the political process, that you start to engage just a little bit. I just want to know, if you ain't been involved in politics, just engage just a little bit. And I encourage you more than anything on the local level, more than anything, get involved in your city council, get involved with your county representative, whatever districts you have. Find out who your district representatives are. Okay, if you see potholes or something that's on your streets and stuff, guess what? You can be the advocate for your neighborhood to make that change. If you're seeing needles and all this type of stuff that shouldn't be over by schools and in parks and stuff, guess what? You can be the advocate. Hey, man, I don't want our kids, or you're seeing grandkids and all in these spaces, and you don't want all these drugs and needles and stuff in these spaces. Guess what? You can be the advocate of change. Yes, you don't have to. It's no big names and stuff. People be saying all that type of stuff. People always want to make themselves seem big and important and all that type of stuff. We are all people here working together. Yes, I am a representative. Yes, I do advocate for change for our community. Yes, I am a voice within our community from a local, state, in a regional space. So I do advocate. But guess what? You just as important as me. I ain't nobody more important than you. Okay. A lot of people might want to try to make themselves feel like they are, but guess what? You are just as important to be able to make the change that's needed in your spaces. Those kids, those children are looking for you to be the voice. Be that voice for the voiceless. Be that voice for those that can't be a voice for themselves, because you are needed. So I just want to drop that in y'all spirit just for a quick second, because politics is a way of life. And if you ain't involved, situations like this gonna be happening all across the country, and in cities and counties and stuff, where you are going to be slipped up by law, slipped up by people just coming in and writing some stuff, and they trying to hurry up and do a vote and sign some papers, and all of a sudden all this is happening. We got to do better. We got to do better. Again, real quick, we got the comedy show tickets that are going to be coming up. here soon. So if you guys are coming, make sure this is your chance, your opportunity to win some free comedy show tickets, 2 comedy show tickets for you and your loved one, your friend, your partner, your sis. Hey, whoever you want to bring with you, this is your opportunity to be able to win some of those tickets. We'll be announcing some Sunday and next Thursday. So make sure y'all stay locked in throughout the show, man. But again, this political thing is something else, ain't it? It's something else. Now, in other news, now we got these 2 prophets, these 2 so-called prophets, that is going down. And what has happened is that they've been called out. A lady from Atlanta calls out 2 prophets. That's what's happened at this point. That they've been called out. So I'm gonna let you hear exactly what transpired and what happened, so that you get a clear understanding as to what actually transpired. Now, these are 2 individuals that called themselves prophets, and they're wanting to pray for people. And the reason why I'm even covering this is because sometimes in situations you have to be careful as to the leaders and stuff that you are following, allowing you that you're allowing yourself to follow, and they're leading. And shout out to Be Heard, period. He reacted to the video I'm about to be playing because I saw it from him, and so I'm going to be reacting to the video that he reacted to, which is these 2 prophets that were essentially just coming to talk, and they were talking about praying for people, but they wanted them to send some money first, and they kind of tried to downplay it. So we're gonna play this for you real quick, and you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Got to be careful. So watch this real quick. Hold on.
Move quickly, because I ain't got all night to be here. This is my last time getting ready to go. I'm getting ready to get up and get out of here. But there's 7 of you. I wouldn't dare let a little piece of money like $100 make me miss what God got for me. Y'all ain't hearing the prophet. I said I would dare not let a little piece of money, if it's your last $100, if you don't know where you're going to ever see another $100 again in your life, I want you to release that $100. And yes, yours truly, Pastor Colonel Thomas. I'm going to call you within 24 hours. I'm going to pray the prayer for you, and I'm going to be that prophet of God that will stand in the gap, that will make up the heads to cause not some, but all the miracles that you need. Move quickly. Fatina, I want you to be one of those that would obey God with that seed tonight. And if you don't have $100, Fatima, I want you to get as close as you can to that 100.
Come on. I'm speaking for all of Atlanta right now when I say, first and foremost, I want to pray from the tongue of somebody who knows the Lord for anyone in here who does not have $100 to pay these false prophets speaking gibberish and scatting in here in the name of the Lord. So first and foremost, Lord, I rebuke a false prophet in the name of Jesus. May you cover these people in the blood who are being led by these false prophets. May every word that they speak fall to the pits of hell where their mothers lie in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus, if she's not there, may she go. If she is not there, may she go. If she is not there, may she go with you and your false prophet. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. I won't wait. I won't wait a second. Be quiet. I rebuke a false prophet. I don't speak to false prophets. I rebuke a false prophet. I don't speak to false prophets. I don't speak to false prophets. You wanted me up here. I'm up here today. I say what I want to say, and may the Lord banish you where you belong.
Listen, man, here's the deal. The Bible says this: to mark them and to avoid them.
Now she went in on them. Okay, that would be her. This is where I got the commentary from. Yeah. Now, Mm, mm, mm. Now he asking for money, right? There's nothing wrong with asking for seeds and blessings and stuff like that. Uh, to minimize, to try to minimize the amount and all of that type of stuff, and telling them that there's a cost for prayer, right? That's always been a bother for me growing up, and seeing that, and that's something that my mother and father would speak against of these type of settings, right? Of asking for an amount for to receive the prayer, and that's something that I was on alignment with our sister as she had came on and she rebuked them and wanting them to not uh ask for the money to receive the prayer. Now, if you just ask for the money as a donation or a seed or whatever the case may be, that's different than saying, in order for you to receive the prayer, you have to uh, give the $100, right? And I think it's becoming more and more of something that's being pointed out. We had the Marvin Sapp issue, right? That was a whole propaganda issue before, but now we're talking about going into this guy, and his voice sound familiar, and I think he sounded like the dude that was doing the prayer clause. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but he kind of looks. I mean, he looks a little older now, and he looked older then when they were doing it. But he would do that, would be hollering, it'd be late. You'll be hearing them. That my grandma and my mom they're having on the gospel station, and I believe he was one of them one that'll get on there, woo, ah, and and talking about, so they'll go send you a prayer cloth or something like that. You just had to send in some money. They were gonna pray on it and send it to you, dip it in some oil or something, whatever they was gonna do. But these are the things where you're trying to manipulate the people, and the folks already are looking for hope. They are looking for guidance. They are looking to leaders for direction, restoration, and all of those type of things. And you have people that are trying to take advantage of that. And I think it's wrong. I think it's completely wrong for people to tie themselves into that space. And of course, it's funny because we're doing the mixture of the two. We're talking about political and religion, something that's taboo for most folks. And so to have those type of conversations, and today is being mentioned on both, to be able to tie in the two from going into, hey, if you send $100, we will pray for you, instead of saying, hey, we're looking for a seed. This is something that we're trying to accomplish in or do. If you have a goal in mind of what you're trying to do, then that's different than saying, hey, I'm not going to pray for you unless you give $100. He said, Mama J said, he said, this may be your last $100. He almost, he did say that, huh? He did say this may be your last $100. He a hot mess. He a hot mess. If he said, oh man, he said that, this may be your last. And you want somebody to give it to you. People got a light bill to pay. They got kids to feed, themselves to feed, a roof that they need over their head, gas in the car, eggs. Eggs is expensive, okay? People dealing eggs like it was 90s cracker. They trying to slang eggs now, man. Eggs is high. And people bargaining on eggs, come wash your car to get some eggs. They cut your grass to get some eggs. Eggs is high. Yeah, eggs is high. Stuff is too high. You ask for $400. If it's a cause and there's a mission or whatever the case may be, that happens. We do fundraising and stuff all the time. And they always go towards a purpose. And that's why I'm saying that if you got something you're doing towards a purpose, it's a different story. But you asking for maybe your last $100, what you trying to say? They're going to check out? You speaking poverty on their life. They last $100. Why they can't have another $100 coming tomorrow? Why you ain't speaking that? But until they give you the $100, then that's when they're gonna be able to get that money. So you got to be careful with these people. For them to be on there, and I'm glad that she said that she rebuked them. Number one, she went a little far. She went a little too far for me now. She went a little too far. Now she went a little too far for me, my taste. You know, she went real gangster with it. She was like Peter out there. She went got real gangster. She got real gangster with it. I wasn't going that far. She talking about putting talking about mama gotta go to hell. I like, oh my God. Now you going a little too far. You went a little too far, sis. Now you rebuked them and stuff. Then you start getting a little, you start leaning over. You went from holy, you know, the holy gangster. You know, you went to tipping. You went to tipping on over there because that, you know, what mama got to do with this? What the people's mama? The man's mama probably been gone. Cause he about 80 years old. But if she's still living, God bless her, and she keep on going. But you can't be wishing or trying to rebuke somebody's mama into hell. God, rebuke the person. Why are you going to the man's mama? You went to the old man's mama. You went a little too far. Going, you know, that extreme. You know, I appreciate you calling them out and putting them in their place, and then you got way too into yourself. You know, you was trying to handle it because at first you was in there. You was bold. You was bold with. You was getting them. You was hitting them with it. And you know what? Partly, if we go back and listen to it, they didn't say nothing until you said they mama. I want y'all to go back and listen to it. I want y'all to go back and listen to it. They ain't say nothing. They was quiet. They really couldn't have said nothing because you had them under subjection. Now I'm gonna go a little bit into it. Now I'm gonna go. Y'all haven't got me there yet. Y'all gonna go up and into it now. The last. This is what she said. They didn't say anything much until she said, "Your mama go to hell." She mentioned the mama going to hell. That's when both of them just went loose. Everything went to hell. Then once she said that, she was hitting them. Maybe she was looking for a response because the rebuking part she had them under subjection. They couldn't say nothing. They had no rebuttal too much. They really didn't say anything. If you go back a little, I thought they was froze at first. I'm like, they ain't saying nothing. I said they ain't get off the program, man. You know, calling out what they done did and stuff. They ain't just delete off. They brought on up. Thought she was gonna send $100 and ask for prayer, but they had another thing coming. They had a rebuke on the way, and that rebuke came, and all of a sudden they was kind of under subjection for a minute until she said, "Your mama in here." I think you know your mama's sensitive. You know the mama comment is sensitive. You can't talk about nobody's mama. You still can't talk about my mama today. Yeah, you might see a little something different. Yeah, you gonna see something a little different. It was just how we were growing up. You know, that was the juggler. That was the juggler joke when you knew it was gonna be a fight ready to go. You was ready to fight when somebody said something about your mama. That was it. And now you putting their mama in hell. Like what their mama got to do with this? Now, if you calling them out, you rebuking them, and she repeated it several times. She repeated it several times, which wasn't right. That ain't sit right with me. I don't know about y'all. Y'all tell me. Let me know if am I out of pocket? Maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe I'm out of touch that you know you can put somebody in their place, but you ain't got to be disrespectful and going to their mama. Now you can have your respected opinion. The mama ain't there to defend them. Say you don't know if they mama alive or dead or what have you. You wishing them to hell. You wishing their mama, not even them. You wishing their mama. They ain't even there. Ain't got nothing to do with this. She ain't scamming nobody. Why the mama got to be the one that take the straight? So I think whatever was going on, she allowed something else to kind of just take over just a little bit. But she was on point for calling them out for that because they wrong. They know they wrong with two left shoes. They know they wrong. But can't nobody tell them wrong. Not until she said something about that mom. Everything else went into a distraction. It was a distraction after that. It was a huge distraction after that. Now, Adrian said, when we were talking about the earlier topic, it's so sad and frustrating what things have come to. I've been going through my own struggles with making important decisions with my upcoming retirement and everything going on financially, politically, that I haven't been concentrating on much else. But my heart goes out to the families being affected by all the craziness going on right now. Now, shout out to you, Adrian. Now, of course, well, you see, with you going into retirement, some of those decisions, the financial woes of the 401k in the market and stuff like that, and how that's impacting your decision making, and maybe timelines is changing out. I don't know all the ins and outs of what you're meaning by that, but definitely I know those are some life-changing decisions that you're in the midst of making. So shout out to you for one, for at the point of being retired and being able to enjoy your retirement. But yeah, you're a part of that process of stuff already. You should know that. You're still a part of that entire process. Although it is sad and frustrating, the decisions and stuff that you're doing are impacting your family and the things that you have going on as well. So although all this craziness is happening out here, you got a whole situation that you got to make sure is lined up so that your retirement is sweet the way that you want it. Because I tell everybody all the time, your life is the life that you want to make it in the way that you want to let it set up. And so you have the ability in the process to be able to do it. Don't allow nobody to put you in box of whatever expectations and lifestyle, whatever the case may be that you see for yourself, and don't minimize your greatness for nobody else. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Okay. Jackie said 2025 is real, folks. Still don't believe it's affecting them. They don't, Jackie. They don't believe it. They don't believe it's affecting them. Some folks just don't believe it's affecting them. They have to realize that they got to be a part of the process. If they are not, it's gonna go all to nothing. Okay. She said they will feel the impact of daring not to read or believe 2025. That's a good point. You have to be a part of what is actually going on. And it's a wave that has to be written. It has to be written. You got to ride this wave because you don't want to drown in the wave. You got to be prepared to ride it. And if you're not prepared, you will drown. And we are trying to prepare more and more people to be engaged, be involved, understand what is happening so that you don't be surprised as these things are unfolding and you're like, oh, I didn't know that, or I can't believe that happened, or this is happening and this has happened, and you're seeing the effects of it, and all of a sudden, what? Wow, I didn't know, or I didn't know. No. It's okay not to know something. The most important thing that's going to affect your life, this has to be a part of a regular thing with friends, families, loved ones, spouses, children. The political conversation has to be a thing that's part of the normal conversation that you all have. Me and my dog was having a conversation today. We was having a conversation today. We sure was. We was having a conversation today about politics, and what is happening and what's going on, and me being able to hear her perspective of what's going on in her mind and how she's thinking about the world and what's happening with it. And yeah, it's real interesting because she's at that stage now to where she is going to be able to vote, and the engagement part of what that looks like, and how it affects her as a student, career-wise, what she wants to go into. Um, all of these things are a great conversation to have, even the perspective that I wasn't even thinking about. Because when you're not in a kid's shoes, they have a different lens that they're looking at in life, right? So even being able to hear her perspective of what she just feels in the moment, and having those political conversations with friends and with teachers. Because a lot of people they think just politics is just how you're voting. How you're voting is okay. Nobody should know how you're voting. Okay, cool. That's great. Phenomenal. Cool. Whatever. Right. But the other side of that is what is happening around you. What is the cause and effect of the laws that are taking place around you that are allowing these things to happen, right? So if tomorrow, if they pass the law today for tomorrow that we can run red lights, that affects the way our surroundings, the way that we move, the way that we interact with each other on the road, right? Immediately there's a major change. People running red light that you don't even know it passed, but people running it, and you're like, oh, they breaking the law. No, the law changed, right? That's what happens. There was a time in this country that black folks couldn't drink at certain waterfalls or go into certain restrooms. The law changes, right? There's laws that can be changed, and guess what? Those laws can be changed back if you're not careful, if you're not involved in the process. If you are not involved in the political process, guess what? We have become part of the problem. So if you're going to get involved just a little bit, just go ahead and put in the chat. Go ahead and put in the chat. If you're going to be involved in your politics, just a little bit. If you have been already, great. I still want to know. I still want to know, because we need more people involved in this political process, this political arena. This entire space is important because you have the ability to create change that we all need to see. And we can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. I know it's a fight that some folks just think that is, hey man, it's this fight that we just going through. It's something that we've done, and it's other people to fight. It's other people to be on the front line to be able to handle some of these things. But guess what? You are important too. There's only big us. There's small me's that create a big us. Small me's create a big us. So you are important. You're an important part of. You're a very important part of being engaged, because by that engagement, which was, I guess a great part for me as a dad, right? Being able to have a political conversation with my daughter. And she brought it up, not me, right? She's bringing up these political conversations. And that's great that, oh, okay, she is engaged in paying attention to some of these things, right? That she is paying attention to some of the surrounding things that I'm getting her involved in, and seeing how it changes certain things, that she's catching on to some of those things, and those conversations are sticking, and then those conversations are spilling over to friends and colleagues, and so they're having a conversation to sharpen each other, or what are some of those ideas and stuff. So it's great as a dad to see that and to hear that, and to uh, know that, okay, as she understand that, okay, her voice and her vote is going to be important. Uh, Being engaged is important. Having some type of tie-in with some uh, the community, and paying attention. That is not all about being on these different reality shows and watching all that stuff, but getting involved in some of these political shows and conversations and stuff like that. That is important. So it makes me extremely proud as a dad that is taking place and that is going on. And so, and then that's hopefully trickles down. Of course, I have grandchildren, all that type of stuff. Those are things that we would want more people to be tied into. Okay, we need you more than anything else just to be involved. If we want a better place, we need good people to be involved. I'm gonna point this out because I think it's so important. There are literally people that are in seats. I want y'all to pay attention. There are people in seats of government that have evil intent. Everybody's focused on Donald Trump and all that type of stuff, man. Okay, whatever your opinions on that, cool. I'm talking about all the other seats, right? I'm talking about thousands of seats. So if you have people, I'm talking about from city council to county to state, your legislators, all your governors, all of these people have a position of power that are voting to make laws that will change the direction or how you live your everyday life. They're all not good people, and what boggles my mind is like, okay, we know that some of these people aren't good people, but you don't even know who your council person name is. You don't even know who the people that are on your school board names are, right? I'm not saying all this to reprimand you. I'm just giving you a wake up call. Like, just somewhat know some people. Like, get involved, and hopefully by you getting your feet wet a little bit, you'll want to know a little bit more. That your curiosity will get a little bit better. Like, you want to know a little bit more. You want to be a little bit more engaged. Understanding that they make these laws. They vote. They, by law, represent you. So if we really just, I don't think people really sit to think about how that actually works. You have people, for instance, on a school board, those individuals that live in your area, they have it zoned. You vote for that person that lives in your area. That person don't have however many, if it's 4 or 5 or 10 people that were running for the seat, that one person beat out those people to represent you and the people in that area. So whatever that person is voting on represents you. They're not representing themselves. They're representing you. So that's how important your vote is. They are a representation of you when they go make laws. They are voting on certain things. But if you're not involved, you don't even know they are representing you and using your identity to represent you, and you don't even know. See, that's how people, you have to really take ownership of that they are utilizing your name, they're utilizing your likeness, they're utilizing your vote, your voice towards something that you don't even agree to. And you don't even know the person. This is like somebody stealing your identity, and then you don't care that they just using the credit cards up, stealing your identity. You don't even know who it is. You don't even care who the person is that's using the credit card. You don't care about none of that. You just living life. But you know that they're using it, but you just don't care. That's to say, that's how politics, that's how those people view you as a constituent. Oh, you don't vote, you don't really care, so you ain't important. So guess what? Boom, you ain't involved. Then you when you don't get the things that you're wanting, they don't know you. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you want. But then again, you didn't vote this person in anyway. Right? That's why it's important to just get involved in the political process somewhat. Even if it's just, I don't care if you don't care about the presidential, just even in your space, no matter where you live, the people that's tuning in all across the country, no matter where you live, just in your local space. Where we had talked about all of this stuff that's going on with the deportation and stuff, right? Now that's from the top that has trickled all the way down to where you live, right? But if you haven't gotten involved in the political process, get involved somewhat. Get involved somewhat. Because you're allowing someone to represent you that you don't know. And they are saying that you approve whatever they're voting for. They're saying that you accept, that you are a part. Because when they go in there and they write something and you haven't raised your voice to go up against it or raise your voice for it to be able to, if it's something that you would like, and then it doesn't get passed because they didn't have the support behind it, that's what politics is all about. Mama Jackson says, so many people have been programmed that their vote will not count and they won't vote. That is so true. That's why I'm taking a little bit of time to kind of break that part down on the importance of voting. Like, your vote counts, your vote matters. A lot of people have been programmed because of the electoral college vote, which is for the presidency, that your vote doesn't count. That's where that whole concept came from. The electoral college, for instance, those of you that don't know what the electoral college is, it's just it's the number. It's not a total number. It's a number that's given to each state that is logged as the number. If they win that state, they get a number. For like instance, if it's for California or Michigan or Florida, they'll say if you win that state, then you get 34 points, and then another state will be worth 12 points, just based on that whole breakdown. And it's not the total number of votes. Every other election is based off the total number of votes. The presidential vote is based off of the electoral college. That's why people started saying, oh, your vote don't count, because the electoral college is the one that determined that number. But even if that's true, even if you're against that in total, right, you still have all the other things that you're supposed to vote for, right? From your senators to your governors to your city council to your county supervisors to your judges to your sheriffs. Like, all of those people are still the total vote. So it's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? So if you don't want to vote for the president, you're against that and saying, oh man, my vote don't count for the president, but your vote counts for everything else. If you truly believe that, your vote still counts for everything else. So don't put yourself in a box like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And so a lot of people have been duped, and they have been lied to about their vote not counting. And I give these perspectives all the time when I'm doing registrations and trying to get people to get registered to vote, especially people that have been ex-felons and things like that. Like, my vote don't count, my vote don't count. If your vote really wasn't important, or if my vote isn't important, if your vote wasn't important, why would they take it away? You get a felony, they take away your right to vote. Why would they take it away if it ain't important? Why would they even waste millions of dollars to be able to get that into legislation to get it passed? Why would they, smart business people that have no intentions of anything, why would they spend all this money on nothing to take away your vote? The power to take it away if it's not important. It is important. Reinstating that vote to you is extremely important. So that's why voting is important, people. You got to make sure you get registered to vote. Just be involved in the political process at least a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because it's important, man. That's what I would say. It's super important. But man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in once again. Make sure that y'all hit us up. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all go ahead and get in those comments. Make sure y'all like and share and subscribe. Make sure y'all help the Game Changer Show on all platforms, YouTube, Instagram, on Facebook as well. Make sure you help your man, Patrick the Game Changer Jackson, here on Instagram, PJ Game Changer. I'm locked in, locked and loaded. Whole lot that's about to be happening. Whole lot that's about to be going down. Man, I'm super excited. Gonna be doing some great things this weekend as well. So stay locked in. I think I'm going to be going live in the morning. I got some stuff that I want to talk to y'all about in the morning as well. So y'all get locked in with me, man. One more time. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.